Hey everyone, we're back. Another Friday here to talk about once again Laura and Musa and everybody that was involved in this child abuse case that Laura turned into domestic violence case.
Yeah.
They call it the House of Horrors. That's the house behind. You see the screen that the family lived in, and
hmm
I know before we get started, something that you wanted to dive into first.
Yeah. Was talking about before we came on Rob Reiner,
Yeah,
what happened a few days ago, and the way him and his wife was murdered like that. That was really sad,
yeah,
just horrible situation. And then I
uh,
kind of, how you was talking about, you were not shocked at anything
nah, not no
after
more.
after like for the past year just doing a lot of research and
Yeah,
figuring out things. And, with Rob Reiner and his wife, dying that way, it was sad because they're the victims. And it seemed like the media was creating like a situation for the son, knowing full well that he's wrong. And it felt like they insinuated some things that he had some issues as a child and had some substance abuse issues. And they was at a holiday party, and an argument broke out where it was about some money, and his parents told him no. And
yeah,
so I was just like, when they said he got this high powered attorney, Alan Jackson, I was like, uh he's supposed to be in a mental institution locked up, but he can get him an attorney,
mm,
a high powered attorney. So how is he mental, suffer from mental illness? And anyways, I won't buy in the crap. Pretty much, I won't buy in any of it that they were saying, about him. I mean, this was a person that was born with a gold spoon in his mouth, didn't have to worry about uh, where he was going to lay his head at night. Never probably was cold a day in his life. Lived in big mansions. Father was a good father. Mother was a good mother, and provided, for all of their kids.
and
So, you
when you
know,
when I heard stories like this, like his story or the Mendez brothers and all that stuff, and then I think about what we went through. I'm like, none of us end up killing anybody.
yeah,
We went through. Let me tell you stuff.
went through some stuff to the point
Yeah,
it almost make you snap. And I'm saying,
yeah,
thank God all of us got our minds, and you were able to function in society, go to work every day,
yeah.
have our own families and
None
stuff,
of us
have friends and stuff like that.
and none
Just
of us are in any mental institutions. Like
institutions, yeah,
Laura, be trying to no, she was always trying to say or behind the scenes telling people that we're crazy. So
yeah.
I
That's been going on for a long time.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
her saying that's been going on for a really long time.
yeah. So let's get in talking about your trip up there.
So let me get down to these notes. So we took a trip to Awanga, California. I think it was Tuesday. Let me get
Yeah.
to my notes. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So it was Tuesday. We took a trip to Awanga, California, 3,300 feet in the mountains. I thought it was higher up, but somebody told me no, it's not higher unless they changed it. But like I was telling you before, when you go inside of the gate after you get up the hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you enter into the gate, to the right side, there's a big old Riverside Estate sign. And there's a remote that you're supposed to click to get in, but they had
Hmm.
it open. And so we just went straight in, made another right, kept going down the street about a block, and then the house was there, right there, bam, on the right. And so the
Okay.
moment we pulled up, you know, um, The strange part is the moment we pulled up, I was kind of like staring for a while at the house. And I was like, wow, all after all them years we're here. And so the first thing I noticed was the outside of that gate. Before you go in the gate to the left, I noticed the outside of that gate. That's where the four or five Broncos was sitting outside
Right
that
over here.
gate. Yep.
Yeah.
And he was sitting in there for a good 9, maybe 10 hours, because that's how long they was there at the house. And so I was kind of explaining it to Hannah, and he was like, yeah, I remember I was there. And so then this guy came walking out and asked, could he help us? And so that's when Hannah was like, who owns this house? He said, I do. He said, do you remember the family that used to live here? He said, yeah, they called it the House of Horrors. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, they called it the House of Horrors. And so that's when I asked who owned the house. He said he bought it. He said it went on the market the day that we moved out. One day after we moved out, it went on the market because this doctor that had it, I guess he didn't want no attachments to it after what happened, you know. He just didn't want no attachments to it. And it sold for $175,000, which was shocking
Wow.
because the real estate market here in California is high. It's high. You're not gonna find a house at that price.
I guess
And
I guess I guess the price was low because what went on in the home.
yep,
I was
yep,
trying to get somebody to buy it,
yep.
but that still
And
is low. That's still
yeah, it
low.
is. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
so the
for
guy,
for that property and how big that home is, I mean, that's very low.
yeah. So the guy and his wife that owned it, they was just like he didn't want it no more. So I guess the money probably just didn't even matter to him because of what happened up there. So he we asked him if we could come in and look around, and shockingly surprising, he let us in the gate. Very nice guy. He let us in and we walked around, and the moment I entered into that gate, I felt like a relief, a relief. And so I said, I'm gonna get Rick on the phone. So when I called you, I was like, look at this.
Yeah, I was shocked, like, "Yo, you up there?"
Yeah. I was like, look at this. Ain't this unbelievable? Unbelievable. But just walking in that gate, it brought back a lot of flashbacks, a lot of memories, a bunch. It was like being a child and walking in that gate, you know? Just the
Yeah.
feeling that I had. It was a cold feeling, but it wasn't a bad feeling that, you know, I'm I'm still traumatized, you know, about the house from what happened to us. But the memories came back because the guy asked what happened because he didn't know what happened. And so we went into a whole story how our father, was buying a house from a guy that was a doctor. He said, yeah, doctor owned the house. That's who they bought it from. And so then we went into how he was in a polygamous relationship. And so he was like, yeah, because he said some producers tried to come to the house because they wanted to take pictures inside of the house and pictures
Mhm.
outside. And they told him no, to leave. So I was like, wow. And so I asked him, when was that? He said about between 2015, 2016, 2017. I was like, wow. So then he had the garage open because I asked permission, because they property. Could I look in the garage? He said, yeah. So when I looked in the garage was the exact same from when dad went and turned it into a room. I noticed the shelving. You seen it on the video. The
Yeah,
shelving
it was still
that he
there.
had put in, and how
Mhm.
he had moved the water tank, the hot water tank, from over in the corner when you first enter on the right side and moved it at the front. And I was like, wow, and how it was encased. And so I asked him what was the condition of the house. He said it was in excellent condition.
No holes in the wall.
He said,
Nothing,
I asked him, I said, did you see any nail holes in doors? And he said, no, I didn't see any. I didn't see any. And then the strange part is they gave us pictures, original pictures to the home. And so we have the original pictures. So I was like, wow, just like I remember it. And then I looked over at the room next door where Adrian was at. So I walked back out that first room, went around to the side, showed you the window, the two windows, and
mhm.
then the inside. I forget about that. We was looking in the inside. Went around, showed you the two windows, then the side door. Remember I told you she had a
Yep,
patio
yeah,
and
yep.
a door? So she had an entrance and a door to get in and out of. And so while we went back from there and went back around the other side, while we was entering from that first room that he turned into a room for Laura, and
Mhm.
then we went to the other room, that's when I was like, oh, you must have cut a hole
Yeah,
right
'cause I
there.
saw
He said, oh, he said that wasn't there.
yeah, no, it was 'cause he cut a hole and I saw like a no, like a wall, like a doorway, and it was
Yeah,
thick too. It was thick. That's how
it
like you
was
said,
like
she was
this thick.
yes, it was real thick.
And it was no way the way that it was told in the
Mhm,
movie
mhm.
that he had kidnapped Adrian and put her in another garage beside her. It was no way he could cut a wall that thick.
Yeah, it was real thick,
It
and
was
the
too
thing
thick. And
and
the guy said no. He said that wasn't there when he got it. I said, no, it wasn't. He said I did that because he said the other side was a room over
yeah, but
there.
here
And so
but here's the thing, in the movie, they portray it as if Laura's in the garage and she got all these boxes and stuff around, and Adrian is on the other side, and she's, like, peeping through this little
a
peephole
whole
hole talking to her, and it was nothing like that. And Laura, every time there's an article, she kinda play it the same way. So they basically feeding off articles and stuff that Laura said. They made it that way. It even made it worse, but it's just the fact that it's all a lie. Because I mean, I saw it, and I know you got more pictures that
a
we're gonna
whole bunch,
release
like
and show.
22 pictures.
Yeah, we're eventually gonna release those, and you'll see it on the shorts and stuff like that. Or I may
Mhm.
use them as background for the videos we do. Um, but yeah, it's nothing like that, y'all. Nothing. Like that movie, I mean, a lot of movies don't tell the truth or documentaries, like I
Yep.
said, what we've been doing recently, we know what happened in our case, in our own life and story and all that stuff. But to go to dig further into like what went on with the actual case and who said what, when, and where, it gets deep. And
Yep.
in social media, that Laura is just lying and flipping the story totally around. It just shows me what the media do. Yeah.
I think they like it when people post false stuff, and because they like it, because they like to pump it up. It gives them like like more of a story to stretch,
Yeah.
you know. And like you said, anybody can make a movie, documentary, and all of that. That don't make it 100% true or true at all.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. 'Cause in our
true at all.
situation, we know it is not true at all. Uh,
Yeah.
that didn't happen to her.
No.
So,
And so like I said, I wanted you to see that. I said I need Richard to see this. So once we went around the back, that's when I noticed all the property that that house was sitting on. Then I saw that they had put a gate around the pool because it was never a gate around the pool in the jacuzzi. They did that. Then as we kept on walking, that's when I noticed the bedroom that me, Sharon, Keisha, Tiffany, and our other sister Joanna, all of us shared. Then I went around to the left side of the house, and I could see the master bedroom that our mom and dad shared, and also the bathroom window. I could see that, and then the dining room area where they had the two slide doors, and then just before you got to their room, way back around the back side, you could see because they had the doors open, you could see straight through the kitchen. And so I
Mm.
was like, wow, that's the kitchen. And then she gave me a picture of, the kitchen. And so I was looking at the kitchen. I was like, wow, I said, it looked the same. She said they did minimal work because it wasn't that much work to do. But that's the original picture that you got in the background right there.
Mhm.
And
Like
that's the
the freezer,
refrigerator.
the
Yep.
refrigerator right here, and the
Yep.
thing that's sticking out, that's the freezer.
Hmm.
And
And
Laura's
so
stuff was on the other side.
the opposite side.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I was like, wow, this just bring back memories, a lot of memories. And then as I got around from there all the way back to the front of the house, we went across the yard to the right. And so I was standing there in front of the bushes where all the trash cans was at
Mhm.
and the big old propane tank because they don't up there for some reason they have propane. Everybody up there have propane. They don't have gas lines. That's what it is. They don't have no gas lines. Everybody got propane up there. And so I noticed the propane tank. And then I looked over. As soon as I looked over, I was like, wow, this is where she threw $500-600 worth of food out that night. And so just looking at it,
Mhm.
I'm just picturing it, all the raw chicken and steaks and all types of bread. And I mean, just a bunch of food that she threw out. And I was like,
Mm.
this is just crazy. So then the guy asked me, he said, so the police never came on the property. I said, yeah, they did come on the property, but they didn't bring choppers. Because he said
Yeah.
he said he saw her in the interview and she said that it was choppers flying on the whole property and they had army tanks and helicopter. I was like, what? And then she said the whole property was covered with police cars. Do you know how many police cars when she said
Mm.
was covered on that property? These people are thinking that it was 50, 60 police cars because that's how big the property is. They thinking it's 50, 60 police cars parked up there. This is what they said they was thinking. Because if you saw how big it is,
Mm.
it's unbelievable. And I was like, no, all that's exaggerated. It was no more than about 4 or 5 Broncos, but they was on the outside the gate. So then his
Yeah.
wife asked, well, how did they get in? And so I was like, they got in that way because
They walk around the other the
you
some.
got to walk around to get inside because there was no gate on the other side. So I was just like, they never entered that property at all. So she said, well, what about all you guys? When they got there, was all you guys chained up in the garage? I said, no.
And
She
she
said, well,
did
she
say that, and
said,
I was like, "Where'd she get that from?"
she kept saying it.
Yes, yeah.
And I told her, I said, no. She said, was you guys like in chains and locks? Because she said everybody was in the garage chained up. I was like, no, that's a lie. So I just explained it to her that when the police got there, it was just normal. She came to the door. They asked her, "Did you write this letter?" And she told them, "Yeah." And the story she made up is that he was breathing on her neck because she said, "Was he breathing on her neck? Did he have a gun to back her head?" I said, "No, he didn't." She lied and made all of that up and put it out there in the media. And she said, well, what happened? How did the police get in? I said, well, they had her step out. They had her step out of the house. And then that's when a social worker walked her around, the side where Adrian's room is at,
Mhm.
where I showed you the door. That's where the social worker and one of the officers walked her around at. And
Okay.
then dad came out because he had to get dressed and they walked him around the other side of the house where the swimming pool is at. And they asked her because it's in the police report. So I'm quoting from the police report. They asked her, did she write the letter? She said, yes, she wrote the letter. They asked her, why did she write the letter? She said she wrote the letter because every time she tries to leave, he wouldn't let her leave.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the crazy part. She said that he would sweet talk her,
He would charm her and sweet
charm her.
talk her.
Yeah, and then she would end up staying. I mean, she liked it.
Yeah. She liked the feeling of being charmed and sweet talked,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
she gives another story, like, something totally different, as
Yes.
if he was threatening her and everything, but that's not what happened because I read that report, and you're right. That's what it says.
Yeah. And so then the social worker, something didn't sit right with her. And so she went back into the house because Laura had told her that he tried to kill her and he threatened her. And she went in the house, and I guess she asked Miriam, according to the police report, again, uh, such and such. See, I know how social workers question kids because I have a degree in child development, and I know they told us my first day of class that you don't lead a child. And I know the social worker didn't say to Miriam, did such and such try to kill your mother? They have a certain way that they ask kids questions. So Laura is claiming in the letter that the social worker went in and asked her daughter, did he try to kill her? And her daughter supposedly said,
Mhm.
I heard it through the wall. And I was like thinking to myself, how could a 3-year-old comprehend? This is what I was explaining to the two individuals that own the house. I said, I don't know how a 3-year-old, and they didn't get it neither. They was like, no. I was like, how a 3-year-old gonna say they heard somebody say they can kill them through the wall? So I was just like, she told him to say that. Then she mentioned some bruises that her son had on his body, according to the police report. And the social worker stated in the police report that her son wasn't there. And so she went to locate him, made a call, talked to him. And then she said she looked herself and didn't find any bruises. And the thing is that I'm not just saying this, this is in the actual police report. And this was, I was letting these two individuals know that this is in the actual police report. And so, like I said, he was arrested. They arrested him because after that, that's when a couple of officers came in the house and they began to talk to some of us. I don't remember Rick Zirko being up at the house at all. And I know Faces really well. And I don't remember him being there. He was a particular one that I don't remember. And we had, like I said, we have the police report, and his name is not in that police report. That he was one of those detectives that
And
was up there.
and I just want to be clear. So Laura was in the kitchen right here preparing breakfast for
She
her
was in the
children.
kitchen.
Right here when the police knocked on the when the social worker knocked on the door along with the police. Mm.
And the story was told that the two individuals that owned that house, the wife asked us, was when the police came in, did they have to break her out of chains? I said no. She said, well, that's what she's saying. I said they didn't break her out of any chains. And I let her know we had the police report that she was not in any chains at all. And I let her know her son wasn't up there. Laura was in the kitchen and she was well aware that the police was there. She lied when she said that she was in the garage, locked in the garage. And it wasn't a garage, it was a room because it was turned into a room. And by the way, the owners of that property said that they have the permit that when he turned that into a room. So they will be sending that to us along with some other stuff. So you know, she was not locked up, chained up in some dungeon like garage. That's a lie made up. And she knew the police was at the door because, you know, when the door was opened up, she was there standing right at the door, and her daughter was standing behind her. Because the first thing she told Miriam is, let's go get our clothes and our shoes. And like I said, I had never seen a situation where somebody said that they was being held captive or hostage. I've never seen a situation where, you know, you're already packed, your bags is up. That's why I'm telling people it was premeditated, all of it, because there was some events that happened that night before. And we was up there for 4 hours talking to these people because they wanted to know the full story because they couldn't really put it together because especially his wife, she said things just seem like it ain't true, that it's just twisted. Some of
Mm.
this stuff just don't seem real at all. And so I was like, no, I get it. I understand because me and my siblings, you know, we're going through that right now. We thought that in 2009, that once that trial ended, that was it. But reality, the trial didn't end because we're still
Mhm.
going through trials and tribulations. So,
And, I remember when all this went down, I'm here in Virginia, and I heard about it, and as it I don't think, like, right when it happened, but I heard about it later during the
hmm
day. I think I don't know who contacted us or called us. I don't know if one of y'all who did it or mom, I don't know, I just know I heard about it. I don't know if I heard about that day, let me see, maybe that day or later that day or the next day that he was outside for a long time in the car. I did hear about that, and that they was speaking with him. Yeah.
it was several officers out there in the car that was speaking with him.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And Laura was not up on that hill. All of us kids and young teenagers and dad, all of us was sitting up on that hill in the cold, and it was freezing up there. It was snowing, and it was also raining. And we was up on that hill while they did their search because they did it that day. And we was up there for a good, they was there for a good 10, 11 hours.
Yeah.
He sat in that Bronco for a good, like I said, 9 hours. He was sitting in the car. They didn't take him anywhere. He sat there in the car.
Mm,
She was gone. She was gone. I think it took them about an hour,
mhm.
and she was gone.
Okay, what about Adrian? What did they do with her? Did she leave right away or
Adrian left right with her
okay.
because, like I told you, look, the night before,
Mhm.
Adrian knew that Laura wrote that letter because she told us. She said she knew she wrote it. But she said the night before, she said she was telling her you shouldn't have did that because she had already mailed it off. She had already mailed it off, but she knew prior that she was
Yeah.
working on the letter, she was writing it. And she said to us after we won't up at that home anymore, had relocated, she said, I told her not to send that letter out because a lot of things she was fabricating, she was lying. And she said she told her, don't do that. And Adrian said she threatened her and told her that she better keep her mouth closed or you going down with him. So Adrian left right out behind her. I don't recall which entrance Adrian left out of. I think Adrian left out of the side because we didn't see her.
Okay.
We didn't see her, but we did see Laura because Laura had told Miriam because she said, go get your shoes.
And check this out. Like you said, she said, "Miriam, go get your shoes." She said nothing about her son because he
No,
wasn't there.
nope. She said, Miriam, go get your shoes. And she went and got her some shoes, got her dressed, and they was dressed just like that. It ain't like it took even 10 minutes. And she had took some bags out and they took the child out. She came back in and got luggage. That's what she did. And
Mm.
so um the owner's wife was asking us, well, how did she get the letter down the hill if she was held hostage?
I
Or
remember she
if she
said
was in
that because when
chains?
yeah.
And so I was like, she wasn't in any chains and it won't no hostage situation. That's another lie. She said, yeah, because she said I couldn't get it really. She said things wasn't clicking. She said when she saw all of us on the Dr. Phil show, she said it wasn't clicking to her on how did she get down the hill. That's when Hannah told her, he said, I took her down the hill. She said, well, did the police know you took it down here? He said, no, nobody knows till today. He said, it's just a story out there that she told that some acquaintance, first it was a stranger distracted him.
Yep, yep.
Now, since we've been doing this podcast, she knows who it was. So I believe she's been watching this podcast. So she said recently it was an acquaintance that distract him. And like we said before, how is an acquaintance that haven't seen him in 5 years and don't know where he live at pop up like Aladdin and distract him? How you gonna do that? Almost 4,000 something feet up in the air. How you gonna do that? So you know that that's a lie. So Hannah was like, this stuff is just like ridiculous. And you saw when we went into the post office, I mean,
Yeah, so
barely two
that post
people
office
could fit
is
in there.
small.
That's probably all that can fit in there is two people. Two people. It's like a little candy booth. That's what it's like. And so, like I said, the wife that um owns the place, her and her husband, she was like, I don't understand how somebody being held captive or being held hostage or if they was kidnapped. She said kidnappers don't let you out the house. I was like, that's what we've been saying. She said that don't make any sense at all. And so I said, she said, did she get the package? I said it was no package. It was no package. That was her permanent PO box because she was doing some scandalous stuff, some welfare fraud,
Yep.
and she never had an address linked to us. She always had, from the time we met her, for some reason, she was married, she had her own condo and all that. She always had a PO box. She always had a PO box. And when we moved up there, she had a PO box. Like when you go off of that property and you make a left and go like maybe 2 minutes down the hill, the whole community's mailboxes is right there. You can
Mhm.
get your mail leaving or when you coming home. Her mail didn't come there. She always, this is what I'm talking about. She just saying out of nowhere, he just popped up and took her in town to go get a package. She always went to the post office. Always.
'Cause
She
she was picking up
always
letters. She was picking up letters from her
from her
husband.
husband. And then that's another thing when you mention husband, how you claiming that you have another woman's husband and he's your husband, but yet she's in this other interview saying my husband was incarcerated. How you got two husbands? I'm like, that's ridiculous.
And she went into the situation with her eyes wide open,
Wide open.
and she
And
was
this is
willing
what I
to
was
work it.
telling,
She was
yeah,
willing to work it out.
this was I was telling the owners of that house. I said no. I told them the truth is that Laura's been knowing had been knowing our father for some years. We don't know how long, but we knew it was for some years. He said it was 7 years.
Mhm.
He had been knowing her. None of us knew her. I don't even think Marcus and Keisha knew her because they worked in her store. I think close around the time when her husband had went away, before he went away to prison, that's when they started working for her. But he said he knew her for a good 7 years. He had already knew her because they was having an affair.
Mm.
And she knew she was married because she had 2 kids. So she knew she was married and she knew he was married because she said he told her that he had kids. She stated, matter of fact, in one interview, and I'm trying to figure out which one was it because there's so many of them. She stated long before she even knew us, she knew all the things before.
Yeah, she did. That was, yeah, you're
I'm
right.
trying to
She did
think
say
which
that.
one.
It's one of the ones we clipped. We was putting up
Yeah.
clips for. Yeah,
She
she did
said
state that.
Yeah, she said long before she knew his wife or his kids, she said she was well aware of all
Of
the
the
things that our
situation. Yep.
mom and his
Mhm.
kids had went through.
Yeah.
So why would you bring your butt up in our house then? Why would you do that? You bring your dusty butt and come squat in somebody's house like that? That's crazy. Why would you do that? And so the owners of that place, they said they were sorry for, you know, because they misrepresented the story. And I told them it wasn't their fault because I said it's a lot of people that's being
Yeah, it's
misrepresented.
a lot of articles out there,
Mhm.
people just don't know. I was speaking to someone today about, my this channel and what we're talking about, and they was like, they never heard of the story. And I was like,
Yeah,
because they buried it, and I
yeah,
said, because you got a black family and they was, Islamic, nobody dove into the story, but it's been out there for years and people just don't
yeah,
know about it.
yeah. But those two individuals, I mean, they asked a lot of questions, and I didn't see the need to. It's no sense of hiding anything at all. And so I just let them know, no, you know, when they said they were sorry for misrepresenting because they didn't know, I was like, well, I mean, the media do that to you. I mean, we was misrepresented when the trial happened. We was told, don't go talk to the media, you know, and but she was able to go talk to him,
And that's where the and
yeah.
that's where the story changed right there when they let her speak to the media and they told y'all don't. And then, of course, journalists and them, they're gonna change the story up and make it sound a certain way so people can read it. And she went along with it and she added stuff as well.
But also not just her. I'm looking at too, like I was telling the owners up at the house, is that they took advantage of all of us because all of us was in a bad situation. All of us was extremely vulnerable. And when I say extreme vulnerable, I'm saying in every area, financially, mentally, socially, psychologically, all of that. Everybody was vulnerable. And we didn't have no alleyways. We didn't have nobody that we could talk to, that we could tell, oh, this is hurting us, or we don't like this, or we don't like that. We feel this way, or we feel that way. We didn't have anyone
Because
to say
because
that
that
to.
because dad didn't allow y'all to go out and
No.
experience life. He kept you in. So who are you to trust?
Yeah.
And with the fancy words and how these lawyers and detectives are coming at everybody, you're like, what's
I
going
mean,
on?
yeah. And of course, we're older now, so we are realizing now what they was doing, from going through counseling, having good people around you, doing our own research, making calls, asking questions. We know now that behind the scenes, they was using all of us, taking our story, using us, flipping the story, making up stuff that didn't happen. And like I said, again, and we always say this, and I'm gonna keep saying it, I'm not defending him. He was 100% wrong for
Mhm.
everything that he did. But the thing is that he's already being punished. He's incarcerated. He's going to be there for the rest of his life. And so there's not much to say about him for me personally. I'm wondering, why was she able to get away? I'm wondering why she wasn't punished. I'm wondering why um the things that happened to us, the abuse that she did to us, why wasn't she punished for it? Because she was definitely an enabler. And she was a part of a lot of the abuse in the home. She was a part of, like I told the owners, I said she was a part of us starving, because when we stole her food, she knew what the protocol was in the house. You steal any food, you don't eat. She knew coming in, and she said it, that
Yeah.
she knew it was a lot of suffering with our mom and us before she went in. She said it on videos that, no, I went in with my eyes wide open. I knew what I was doing. And that's the thing, is that when she sits and talking about court records and people need to do researches, you can do some research, but you're not gonna find those court records.
You're not gonna what you're gonna get is
You're gonna
articles that's skewed and make it sound a certain way, and they may take bits and pieces from what they heard in court, but it's not everything that happened. It's not in a they it's choppy basically, and
right.
so because they're trying to get all this information in because there's so much, and they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get those actual court transcripts
Yep.
at all.
And then the owner's wife was telling me, she said, I saw her recently on TV at some event with a lady that was sitting in a purple suit that was asking her a bunch of questions. And she said she thought it was disgusting how they talked about the kids. I said, yeah, that's what they doing, talking about us. She said, yeah, they making big money off of you guys. You was on the phone. She said they
There
making
was
big money.
um I don't want to jump too soon. I know we didn't mention this. We said we're going to talk about it, but I want to
Mhm.
say this right quick. We found out that Laura did make money,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And it's like Tracy Potts said that she didn't make any money, but she did.
And she said it was free
Yeah,
because
she said it was free. Yep.
look, I don't know the lady, so I don't even know why she talking to me. She's a goon. for Laura. She her henchman. I don't even know why she talking to me. My number one interest, and it's gonna keep being that, is defend me and all of my siblings. That's what I'm doing. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let a lie be told that's not true. I'm gonna go out there and clean it up, advocate for myself, and advocate for my siblings. That's what I'm gonna do. And Tracy Potts, if you're watching, because we know you was watching us, you know, but if you're watching, it was very abusive what you did to me and my siblings, going after we made a comment to tell you that it was wrong for you to sit up there and say such nasty things out of your mouth about children. And people recorded it, and it's out there online. That's how we got a hold of the videos. It was abusive what Tracy Potts did. She sat up there and told us to shut up.
sure
Told
did.
us to shut up. Told us to shut up. She told us to be quiet and mind our business here in California. We got this here in Cleveland. So, in other words, shut up and let us keep using you so that way we can keep making money off of you. And this is what this lady was saying that she saw online, the owner. I was like, yeah, she told us shut up, be quiet, don't say nothing, don't say
Mm,
anything. And she's been contacted because I did talk to some people at Tri City College, and I got that call back this week,
mhm.
and with their legal team as well. And they stated to me that the ombudsman that investigated, they said they did contact the individual that was in charge, which was Tracy Potts, and Laura was there as well. And they said that they did not know anything about this story. All they knew is that she used the word advocate. She was this domestic abuse coach who branded herself an
Mhm.
advocate. Because she asked me, did you know if she was a advocate that was educated? I said, no, I don't know anything about that. But she said all they knew is she was just a person that branded herself this advocate. And she was there talking, and she said that the police that was there said they didn't see students with cameras and stuff out, but they legal team caught it,
Yeah.
that they did have cameras out. And so I let them know, that what we want is we want Laura to stop talking about the likeliness, mentioning our names behind the scene, all of that stuff. We just wanted her to stop doing that. And so the legal team there at that college did apologize.
Yeah, and, you sent me the recording, and I listened to it, and I'm like,
Mm,
"Yo, yeah."
yeah, they did apologize. They said that they're not the type of people that would allow somebody to come on campus like that and do an event, and then you got people in there laughing. But they said most of the people that was there, it was people that was with her. That's who was
And they and
there.
they and they were taking pictures after
Yeah,
the event as well. They said they was supposed to
yeah,
have cameras and stuff, phones recording and stuff, but those pictures are online.
yeah. They posted it.
Yeah.
They're saying that they signed some type of paperwork where you're not supposed to have your cameras out recording.
Mhm.
Well, guess what? They recorded.
Yeah.
And it don't matter whether they recorded it or not. She shouldn't be able to sit behind the scenes and talk about us and make money off of us. She's done enough of that. She's done enough of that. And I
But
dare her to
we gonna
lie.
work on that. We're gonna work on that.
Yeah. But I'm saying I
Mhm.
dare her to lie and say that she ain't made no money off of us because she has.
You
That's the
talking about
thing.
20 something years? Yeah, she made some money.
Yeah. So it's just like I said, it's
But yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
And when you
So,
got social media like that, people gonna record stuff. They'll be sneaky and do it. But the thing is, you know what? I'm glad they did record it because that shows us she's still out there trying to use us.
mm. So I wanna ask you, how did I know I think I mentioned this before, but I
Hmm.
wonder how did you feel? Because I know that day you were telling me, I know Hannah was trying to get you like, "Yo, we need to go up there now, we got time." And as your
Yeah,
way up there, I know you said you was feeling a certain way. because it,
Yeah, well, I went to work that morning,
Mhm,
but I got off early because I had to go to the dentist. Left the dentist, and we had plenty of time left before because it get dark early. So I was like, "No, we got a few hours. We
mhm,
let's go. You need to go." So we went up there, and when I got up there, it was like, uh, I was kind of like, it was like a bunch of flashbacks, like I was telling you a few minutes ago,
mhm,
because I could vividly picture every spot. Okay, the Broncos was right here. He was in these Broncos right here. There was a van parked out there that led outside to the gate to bring her and her kids out. Then, I'm looking at, okay, then social worker bringing Taz back in the house. Then walking over to the right side and going to the bushes. It's like I'm vividly looking at food. And so Hannah was standing out, said this whole area right here was covered with food. And he said he remember it being covered because he said Musa took me over there. And he was like, look at the type of stuff that she's doing.
mm.
Look at the type of stuff that she's doing. And then not just that, he said he was sitting in the car and they told him don't say anything. He couldn't leave. None of that. He said he was scared because he didn't know what was going on. And so he said he was sitting there and he said all he saw is a bunch of officers over in the bushes over
Wow.
there looking. He didn't know what they was doing, but he said they was over there in them bushes looking. He said, I thought that was going to kind of vindicate your father because he said, knowing that you guys, and he had told him that, because he said at one point, he said, your father was saying that, no, I just took her to the grocery store. He said he was with him when they went to the grocery store like a night or two. He was just like, he said, this is weird. And so he said, he just kept saying it. I can show you proof. I can show you receipts, everything. I can show you proof. And it's just like, they ain't care. They didn't care at all.
They just believed what she said, and that was it.
Everything.
Even with the food right there thrown out, freshly,
Yeah, right in
yeah.
front of your face.
So
See,
she
she's
runs
had
so
so much. I
Mhm,
mean, I'm looking at it like this is that she's isolated people. She's good with isolating people from the right people that she don't want nobody to hear nothing bad about her. I mean, you looking at somebody that has not copped to making that one mistake. She's taking zero accountability.
mhm.
She just it's just that we're all mental, we're crazy, we're liars. We like the three blind mice. We don't know nothing. They all lying. I know everything.
So the whole thing with her saying dad starved her and all this stuff, what she wasn't starved, the food was right there. She threw everything out, and she still had some left in her refrigerator that she had in her room.
It's
So,
in the police
yeah,
report.
it's in the police report that is
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So she lied on the Dr. Phil show, said that, she didn't have a refrigerator, but she did because in the police report, I read it. The police, I mean, it's right there. She threw the food out. Dad did not take tasks from her because dad had custody of her because Laura signed it away because dad
She
did
was
not
planning on
want her
going back to her husband.
exactly, and
That
dad
was
didn't
her
want his
plan.
daughter being raised by her husband.
It was written in letters. That was her plan is to go back to her husband when he got out. That was the
Mhm.
plan. It was written in letters.
So she was playing her husband and dad.
And him.
Yeah.
She was doing whatever she could to play both of them against each other. The man ain't here no more, but I just wish, and God rest his soul, but I just wish that he knew how she treated his kids. I just wish he knew. And that he knew some of the things that she was doing and what she was doing to other people's kids. Because that beast that she is, she came in our home like that. She there was already, and I explained that to her son when he came for me on Facebook a couple weeks ago, that the way you think things happen, it did not happen at all.
He wasn't even in the home like that, so
No.
that proves that she had a way out to go somewhere because he wasn't living there.
Well, you got to look at this too. Is that we have the court minutes, and in them court minutes, it states that there was private investigators that investigated where we lived at, and there was people all in the area that saw her and dad on a consistent basis leaving together, leaving and coming to the home together. They saw them at grocery stores. They saw them at malls. They saw them at various different outlets. They saw them at the rental car place.
In
They
the
seen
police
them at the
report,
post office.
it said that the social worker had to wait for dad and Laura to come, and they opened the gate.
Yeah, because
So
she wrote what happened is she took a picture of all of us and she wrote help on the back of it and she threw it over the gate. And the social worker, you're right, Tom Belanca, the social worker, he said when he came to the house, he said mom was there, but mom said her husband won't home. She won't open the door. Can you wait? Let me call him. So mom went and called him. And she went back and told him that Laura and Musa was gone. Salima and Musa was gone, and that they would be home in a minute. Can you wait? He said he could wait. He stated that they came pulling up together.
he sure did.
That's what he said.
So all this stuff about her being locked in the garage and all, it's just a total lie, folks. And just keep watching our videos and go back to other stuff. I mean, we've already proved it. I mean, we have paperwork.
Yeah.
You know.
And then all this stuff, don't believe that, hey, just people's court records is laying out there, because it's not, because a lot of our siblings was minors, and there was some stuff, some gruesome stuff that was done to a lot of us, and that stuff was sealed, and all of us is protected by a law here in California called Marcy's Law. And so medical records and certain things that was in those transcripts are protected. And so when you look at Tracy Potts and she's sitting up there reading, those are, like Richard said, those are like snippets of different stuff she put together and read. Because when I talked to the court office and showed her the video, she said court transcripts don't read like that.
Mm-hmm.
She said it sounds like that she's reading a story or something. But she said court transcripts, she said court reporters don't type like that. They don't do that. You know.
Man, I tell you, it was just when you went up there and
It was.
I,
It was.
cause
I'm gonna tell you what it was.
I didn't know. I didn't know you was going up there. I thought,
No.
okay, you said you was gonna call me. Okay, so when you put me on video and I started, I was like, yo, you like I got a surprise for you. You turned it around. I'm like, yo, what you doing up there? So yeah, I was shocked myself.
Yeah.
Shocked. But
So,
yeah,
like I said, when you said the feeling was like I'm in a time. I'm going back to the future. That's
yeah.
how it felt. You know, like the movie Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it felt, because it was. I could remember. I remember this. I remember this. I remember that. I remember this. You know, just going around the entire house and looking. And I'm saying it was at some points where I just got the chills going to where those bushes was at, where the food was dumped out at. I kind of got like the chills. Then being in the driveway, you
Yeah.
know, that just
I was
kind of brought
standing there
back a whole
talking
bunch
to
of
them, and
memories.
after y'all was talking stuff, you showed me the bushes and all that stuff, and
Yeah,
you walked all the way around the home, and you was pointing stuff out to me and this and that. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then walking out, pulling up in front of that gate right there. It was really um vivid, the memory to me, because he would pull up in front of the gate and me and Tiffany would run out because the gates was heavy, and one person couldn't open it. Tiffany get one gate, I get one gate. We open it up for him to pull in.
Mm,
And so when we parked in front of the gate, the first thing I looked over, I told Hannah, I said the cars was parked right there where you see those boulders at.
mhm. Yeah.
But the boulders aren't there anymore. There's plants there now when you pull up. That's where he was parked at, out there, those Broncos.
You
And
know,
like
it's
I said,
mhm.
the house was immaculate. It was a really nice house.
And you know what the crazy thing is?
Mhm.
Why did Dad have you and Tiffany going out there, open the heavy gate, and not the boys? And I know why he didn't have the boys going out there, because he had them real small. They couldn't pull nothing. So I
Yeah.
always think that dad was afraid that if them boys would have got bigger, they would have did
Yep.
something to him. So he kept them very small. Except Marcus, because he was out with dad a lot, so he got a lot of sunlight and moving around. Even though he abused him just as bad, but he, was able to go out, move around with dad. So
Yeah, trying to keep, just like you said,
yeah,
trying to keep them stagnant.
yeah,
Because not just that, but a lot of the crazy part is when the trial started, one of the advocates was up there asking me and Tiffany about how did we lift all the furniture and stuff. It's like he made us lift it
yeah.
and
Man,
opening
told
up
me
the
that.
gates, because
Yeah.
somebody said in Lake Elsinore he would have them little girls in one of the transcripts, one of the neighbors, her name was Janet, and she said he would have them little girls, if the van didn't have no gas, or the power battery was out, he would have them pushing the van from behind and having them move all that furniture and all that. But like you said, he didn't have the boys doing much. I mean, like I said, just trying to keep him stagnant, because probably, like you said, afraid they're gonna get bigger
Yeah.
and knock him down. So, like I said,
Mm.
he had a lot of different methods, and Laura had a lot of different methods. And the thing is that, I'm not here to put the blame 100% on him. He did 100% of the abuse that he did to
Mhm.
all of us, but everybody, all the adults up there played a role. They had a part.
All of them.
And the other thing is, when you mentioned Adrian, I thought about something, today when I saw that little clip where she told Adrian, "Hi, my name is Laura." She didn't tell Adrian, "Hi, my name is Laura," because nobody knew her name was Laura. All of us knew her name as Salima. I didn't know who Laura was until people started saying Laura. I was like, the DA, I was shocked. I was like, I didn't know that was her name. None of us knew that was her name.
I know
Daddy
y'all
knew.
looking around like, yo, who is Laura?
Yeah. And so Adrian, she's over in the other room over, and I'm just like, why are you sitting back and not speaking as well? Why are you sitting back letting her lie and say that he just drove up in the car and threw you in a box next door, and you was peeking through a little window saying, "Hi, he kidnapped me. I'm scared." And then she says, "My name is Laura." Why are you letting her lie like that? And then you kind of got to be, you know, truthful to yourself, because all of us know Adrian, and Adrian, where Laura stated that with Charles White on his podcast, she said, check this out. She said the plot thickens. He met another young girl. Now, let me tell you this, Laura was not no young girl,
Nope. And yeah, I didn't get that. Just
because
know that she said another young girl, but she wasn't
she's
young.
about 16, 17 years older than Adrian. Now, as we speak, she's about 16, 17 years older than Adrian as we speak now. So when you say he met another young girl, you was not a young girl when our father met you.
They the same age, basically.
Yeah, she's 70 and he's 72. So we're gonna get that one straight. She was not a young girl. She was this 27. She's well into her 40s. Okay. And Adrian, again, I'm like, I don't understand why she's not speaking, because the individual that she was previously with, he did some horrible, cruel stuff to her. And that's what she should be speaking about, because she stated in those documents as well, the court transcripts, that she was not kidnapped. She was
Yeah.
not held hostage. And some of the stuff that Laura is saying, that stuff didn't happen. She stated that herself.
Mm.
So, I'm just like really, it's a lot to dissect. And it's like,
Every time we talk about this, even though it seems like we're talking about the same thing, we're really not, because other stuff pops up. Even in our private conversations, when we get off here and we talk a little bit, you give
Mhm.
me more insight on other stuff. And it's like, man, we should have said that in the video. So we come back and we add certain stuff that seems. I mean, yeah, we're talking about saying stuff, but we're adding to it. We're like building,
Yeah.
because it's so much to it. I mean, people don't realize. I mean, dad been like this since I was born. You know what I mean? And he's been doing scams and doing this, and then he runs out to California. He's doing stuff out there. And then he runs into Laura. So it's a lot that went on. So
And then don't nobody say anything. That's the thing. People just sit back and they don't say anything about it. I mean, some of the stuff, I know we've been over the list before, but there was no charges for no guns, for nobody
nope,
pointing no gun and nobody. There was no charges for no rapes. There was
nope.
no charges for her being malnutrition. All this stuff that she done came up with. I'm just like, how can you write a book and put this stuff in a book
They did a movie and
and
put
a
this stuff
movie,
in.
knowing that you're lying, Are you? Mm,
They did a movie. That's the crazy part.
yeah,
Off of articles and a lie. But and this is what we've been saying is like just going through it this year and doing our own research. When I heard about stories in the media and what's going on, I don't even know if it's real no more. I'm gonna do my own research
you gotta go check it out for yourself. Cause
because
like I said,
the person that's probably going to jail is not even what you think will actually happen. You know what I'm saying? Or the one that's getting some
you know,
time. It's
yeah,
just
you
like
know how you know it's a lie because when she mentioned our mother's name and you look at it, that ain't even the picture of our mother.
yeah, they're
I'm like, our
online.
mother don't look nothing like that. That's a lie.
Yeah, they're on it's online, a picture online of our mom. She don't even look like that. That's not our mom, and they
I'm like,
talking. I'm
that
like,
ain't
who is
even
this
her.
lady?
Stop, no, stop lying. That's not even her at all. It's a lot of stuff they do, a whole bunch of stuff, and you know that they're talking about you. You know,
Yeah.
because just from watching it, you. I remember one time Keisha had called me when that Pt.1 documentary came out, and I was asleep. I had been at work all day, came home, had dinner, got a shower, went to sleep, and Keisha woke me up one night and said it's a documentary on TV1. I was like, I'm not watching it, and I ain't watch it. I didn't watch. I'm not watching that because I was like, what else can you expect? I mean, you gotta look at this, and this is came from Laura's mouth. She said she's gonna continue to do this stuff till she close her eyes.
Hmm.
So she's good with a lie.
Yeah.
She's good carrying a lie till she's not on planet Earth anymore.
And she, like we said in our previous video, she wants to pass it on to her kids. But hey, what are you talking about?
It'll be really for me it'll be shocking to sit and watch to see what the three of them have to say. It would be really shocking to me to see what would they possibly say out of their mouth. All three of them. I'm just like, wow. I
So
mean, it's
so
just.
so um so let's go back to the other top of the list right here.
Mm-hmm.
I know you started talking about Laura a little bit, but then further down it talks about Detective Zirkle testified that the knife that Laura claimed that Dad stabbed her with, it was a rust. It wasn't blood up there. That was rust. And
He
and
said it
this
was an old rusted knife. That's what
and
he
that's
said in
what
the
yeah, and,
transcript.
and that's what he testified to.
Yeah.
So why she up there like it was blood up there. That's not blood. That was rust.
No, she said she was repeatedly stabbed in the
Yeah,
foot by him.
yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, but
Do you
that's
know
not.
she wouldn't have a foot if she was, and if she did have a foot, she would be limping for the rest of her life. She said she was repeatedly stabbed by him. That's what
Mm,
she said. And then not to go off topic too, um, to clarify too, in the transcripts as well, Laura testified that she had the letter inside of a sweater pocket
mm.
in the transcripts. She testified that the letter was inside of a sweater pocket. She
So she
never
didn't pull
testified that she pulled anything out of her
so
underwear.
she didn't pull out her underwear.
Nope.
And here's the thing. If you were in the garage, like she said she was, and she wrote this letter in the dark and she folded the papers up and put it in her underwear and came out, how did it get mailed? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause you didn't have a letter, and you didn't have like an envelope to put the stuff in and all that stuff. If you're saying you just wrote this letter and pulled out your underwear and gave it to the person.
This is how she mailed it. She told two different stories. She said she wrote the letter and she had a book of stamps. That was the
Okay.
first thing she said. She put them on stamps. But I found out because I got clips of the letter
Mhm,
that it was a postage stamp letter with her social worker's name on it. And
mhm,
she used that and put the letter in and mailed it. That's
mm.
how she mailed it.
It's
She
just
told
her
people
whole her
she
whole
made people think she mailed it and used stamps, but she didn't
but
tell them that she had a social worker, that she was on welfare
but
and living
here
in a home, living off of
yeah, but
her funds and other
mhm.
family funds, and that she mailed it in her social worker's um, letter.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying is like when she had the letter, she's claiming she just took the letter and pulled out her underwear. Okay, she didn't say nothing about when you get stamps from if you're claiming you're in the dark. So okay, you found a pen and paper in the dark. You wrote this letter in the dark, and you found an envelope, and you found some stamps. Come on, all in the dark. I mean, come on, that's crazy.
Terrible.
That's what I'm getting at. The whole way that she's explaining the story, it don't sound as that's crazy. And people just need to really pay attention to what she's saying. It's all out of place. I mean, it's a lie, but
Like I said, she's gotten away with a lot, and I'm saying, people got to be willing to sit down and and listen to all sides, though, and that's how you piece stuff together. Because it ain't been us out there speaking or saying anything. The only thing we do, if somebody tell a lie about something, we'll comment and say that's not true, that didn't happen. But it got taken too far when she went and she decided that, oh, she's gonna make a movie. It got taken too far, too far. And I'm saying it's not even a true story. That's the thing.
and Laura said she was never mentioning this case about being like being abusive or whatever. And y'all mentioned it multiple times. They just would stop y'all.
Every time we mention it, they told us this is what they told us. And it was Julie and it was Detective Zirkle. Those was the two. It's not about her. It's about him.
And she was cross examined too about the lies she told about um but saying she was raped, she wasn't. So they cross examined her about her uh the rape, being starved, uh being beaten and slapped around by dad. I mean, they asked her this on the stand, and they confronted her with the lies because these were lies because this never happened. And she doesn't tell people that she was confronted about this on the stand, and it was found out that she was lying even before. I mean, even before trial, they knew she was lying.
Mm.
And like thrown in the basement. Y'all didn't live. It was no basement there at the home.
Yeah, now that was another thing that the owners asked up there. They said, where's the basement at in the house? Because we couldn't find it. I says no basement. She said,
I
yeah, we
heard
couldn't
that.
find it.
Mm,
She said we could not find it because they bought the home, like she said, the day that we moved out. So they've been there for a long time. They've
mhm,
been there like since April, some month. I
mhm.
mean, some date in April, probably since April to 9th or 10th. They've been there of 99. And she said she could never find a basement. It's like it won't no basement. And I told her, I said she piggybacked off of a story that happened to me and my siblings, some of us in Bakersfield, and she used it. That's what she did. Cause she said she was thinking to herself, "Ain't no basements out here where we live at." I was like, "Yeah." She said, "I kept trying to put it together, but she said you got to forgive me for misrepresenting the story." She said, "I'm just looking at what I see on TV, but when you actually meet the person, you know, you get a better side of the story." And now she understands. I told her, I said, "If you want to call me sometime, you can call us sometimes. If it's something you don't know or you're trying to get an understanding of something," I said, "I'd be willing to answer it for you."
Mhm.
So she asked about the movie because she said she saw previews of it and she didn't even want to watch it. She said, "What I'm gonna do?" She said, "I'm gonna watch the movie and I'm gonna give you a call." She said, "Then after that, I'm watch Dr. Phil's show and I'm gonna give you a call so we can talk." But she did ask this. She kept asking me, "Where was your mother at?" I said, "She was in the house." "Why didn't she do anything?" I said, "That's a question to ask her." I could come up because I came up with it before. A lot of, I mean, I don't have no excuses why she didn't do anything for her. But again, you still got to ask her. But I don't have no excuses why she didn't do anything. And then she asked me why we didn't say anything. And I told her we was coached not to say anything. We was told you're going to starve more, you're going to get beat, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do that to you. We was afraid. And she said, and I believe you because she said she had a niece and a nephew that was done that way. And she said, in the system don't understand you got kids and when they've been programmed and they've been told a certain thing, they be in fear. Because she said it happened to her niece and her nephew. And I was like, "Oh, you don't do that." We knew not to say anything. We knew not to tell. We knew not to say anything at all. And
Mm.
so, as many times as the police came out to our house, and Laura wrote all them letters because she kept the police and social services out at our house, and she wrote all this stuff in letters. And during the time when they was coming out there, they was separating the two. I'm wondering right now, and been wondering why didn't she say anything?
Seeing that dad threw a VCR and hit her upside the head.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, that he threw a VCR and hit her in the head. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell everybody this, whoever watching. Laura put her hands on him too.
Oh yeah.
Laura scratched his neck all up, his face. She had him bleeding. I've seen her punch him in the eye. I seen her antagonize him. I seen her push him.
You're up there
I seen her
on
scratch
what
him.
was it called? Top TV with Charles White. Is that who he is? She was up there saying she was a
She
thug.
was bucking, and
She
that
said
she
she was
was a thug.
bucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to sit up there and tell Mike on the Dr. Phil show that it's a lie. I did not want your father to leave your mother. You did want him to leave our mother because we all heard everything. Like I told you before, Rick, in a couple of interviews back, some months back, it was no secrets.
Yeah. Yeah, all y'all said was
We
no
heard
secrets in the home. Everybody heard
kids,
and knew everything.
kids knew a lot. Kids knew a lot. And like I said, I just wish that he'd have just ran off into the wind with her and their kids and just didn't come back.
Mhm.
Because both are horrible people, you know. They just some horrible people. I'm not gonna pick and choose between him and her who was bad. Both of them was bad.
Mm.
Both of them. Because I seen her do some really cruel, mean, rude, heinous stuff, and she's still doing it.
Yeah. And I know we mentioned this we talked about this I think before, but we look at cases differently. So
Yeah.
when I see uh Tory Lanez on with the Megan situation, Johnny Depp and his ex-wife, and even the Puffy documentary, the Diddy documentary. Um, I'm not for him, for the fact what he did to Cassie. The beating that was wrong. But as far as all this other information with the documentary that 50 Cent put together, he took clips and things from other uh videos and other documentaries, and he put them together, and it makes it look a certain way. And like so now it's like this year alone. I mean, I always like you always know like okay something ain't right about the case, but when you start digging deep inside your own case and doing your own research, and you look out at everything else, it's like okay, I don't know if this real, if they actually did this, or this could be a little left this way, this be a little that way, you know. And I'm just I'm like
And then what I didn't like about that 50 Cent documentary too is I don't like the fact that Cassie was abused the way that she was, kicked around, hit by him, and he was wrong for doing that, and she's a victim of that. But what I didn't like is that why do people sit up, and especially in Hollywood, they make these documentaries and they don't have no respect for the victims at all. They make up lies on you. They don't ask no questions at all. Oh, we just gonna say this. We just gonna say that so people can watch it for the ratings because we want to get paid. They laugh. It was nothing funny about what Diddy did at all. It was nothing funny about what happened to all of us. And people have laughed, made fun, belittled people, called people names, told people to shut up. It was nothing funny about that Johnny Depp case. When I watched that whole trial faithfully, and when I watched that trial, it was both of them.
yeah,
But
Amber Heard, that's her name, Amber Heard. Yeah,
she was trying to make it out bad that she's some domestically abused woman. But guess what? That didn't work because you could see through the texts, the back and forth texts, the alcohol use, drug use, him and her putting their hand. Their relationship was just violent.
yeah, toxic.
Yeah. So she was trying to really mess him up in Hollywood, make sure that he could never work again. And then this stuff with Tory Lanez, it makes you wonder, like you said, looking at your own stuff, like, did he really shoot her? We don't know. Because he's saying that he didn't, and he's asking for an in bank hearing, and he's asking to have he's asking Governor Newsom to clear his name.
Mm.
And so I'm just like, people just need to think about other people, when they doing things. And I know saying it's not gonna change people, but I'm just like, it's just it's bad to be that way. It's bad to be sitting making fun of people or making people feel belittled or they're less than and we're better than you because of this or because of that. And the thing is that some people don't even have to say it. You can just feel it when you're not included in certain things. And then when a certain stuff happened and you brushed off on this side, everybody else is on this side. You know it. You can feel it. You know it. But you know what? Like I said, I felt a certain way about a lot of things years ago. I just gave it up. I was like, it ain't even worth it. It don't have no space in my head at all. Just don't.
And what about the all these Cleveland based people that are constantly helping Laura and everything, and they'll keep saying this happened, that happened, but they have no court papers. No, show it to us if you have it, you know.
Yeah. I've asked them, if you have it, show it to us so we can see it. And just instead of just saying it.
And like you said, how Tracy Potts, she using Musa tactics, and she got that from
Yeah,
Laura.
that's what it felt like when
Yeah,
she went. When
yeah.
she
But
went,
what I'm saying is that what she said, I believe Laura had said something to her, to talk to us in a certain way, as if we're gonna back down, or that's gonna make us afraid or whatever. And they're looking at everyone like they're children, or that somebody's slow or something. You got some mental problem. So if I speak to them in a certain manner, they'll back down. You know. So I like when you said that. That was we was talking about that. That was very interesting.
Yeah. She probably told her, "Oh, use a Musa tactic."
Yeah. Say this to them. Say it
Yeah.
in this way, in this fashion, and they'll.
Yep.
And you called me. I think was it yesterday or the day before about what Laura said on TikTok.
Yeah. She said that. Well, actually, a friend of mine saw that she posted something, and she said that she talked to mom a lot about the way dad treated all of us, and tried to tell mom to get him to stop, but for some reason, mom wouldn't listen to her. And I was like, this lady don't go sit down somewhere and stop lying. Because her and mom didn't talk at all. And she said it herself that they never talked.
Mm,
So, I was like, she need to just go sit down somewhere. And then she said she didn't even like that polygamous relationship. Yes, you did. Because you said you went in with your eyes wide open. You did. And you said you wanted it to work. So I'm just like, you did. So, like I said, it's just, it's it's stuff everywhere, you know. It's like a whole riddle when you look at it. Bits and pieces that she got flowing around out there. Footprints just everywhere that you got cleaned up. Like Twiddly Dee and Twiddly Dum was hopping down the bunny trail when they met Peter Cottontail, who took them to the Mad Hatter, and they all went down the rabbit hole. How far? Nobody'll know. So pretty much all those Cleveland entities, they following her right down in the rabbit hole.
mm-hmm.
And none of them know really what happened. They don't know how she is. They really don't know what happened. They
Yeah.
just don't know.
Yeah.
Just
And
being a follower.
and like you know, like you said, mom wasn't expecting this polygamous lifestyle, or what he was trying to be a polygamist, but we know he wasn't really living it the right way, that lifestyle. And he just ran over mom, like you said.
She
We was talking
wasn't into
about
that. She
it. Yeah.
wasn't into that at all. That was just a lifestyle that it seemed like he was doing that only because he was influenced by other men that was doing it, that he was around. You know, that's just how I feel, because it seemed like that he would do things in front of people just so he could get attention, or he could just be seen.
Mm,
So I'm just like, mm-mm. And then look at this too. You know, you gotta look at getting back to Laura during the entire so-called 3 or 2 years Laura Cowing was in the relationship
uh-huh.
with a married man. She never ever filed any police reports of kidnap, rape, or being beaten. I'm trying to figure out is where's these rape and kidnap police reports at? Where's the starvation and her being malnutrition? I haven't seen any pictures. Why wasn't there any abuse of her children documented? Not one police report that she was battered. None of that stuff.
Yeah.
But what she did do, like I said before, she documented everything about us. And then she followed in suit. Well, I mean, it happened to them, so I'm going to say it happened to me. I don't get how a person, I look at her and I'm just like, wow. Growing up as a kid watching her, and then you're older now, it's like you still haven't changed at all.
Mm.
You still haven't changed.
You know, just for her, just a recording, everyone being beat. Who stands by and listen? They just record stuff. And then in the movie, showing that she got the tape recorder and stuff from out of the garage, and she was
It's
recording
like
from.
every
She, you know what I'm saying,
look,
and she was recording. She was recording from the garage.
yeah.
How could you do that? That's
Don't
crazy.
no table. Look, first of all, her room is way up here at the front door. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna tell you, it was a big house. How could you tape from your room and we're way down the hall? Like, I mean, the house was so big, that's just impossible for a tape recorder to reach that far and record. Like when this stuff was going on, people don't know. She recorded that stuff and he did that stuff to us for her. And she was right there recording it. Right there recording it. It was just too loud. Too loud. But why you didn't document anything he did? See, this is what I'm saying.
I know. It's
And why you didn't document none of the stuff in recordings that he did to you and your kids? Why you didn't document none of that stuff? I ain't seen no recordings of him and her having no arguments, none of that stuff. It's just like everything about us is recorded, it's documented, and you're using it, but everything that you saying that happened to you, it's a secret. I'm
and she
just like, I
doesn't
don't
like that.
get it.
She doesn't like that we're on YouTube or TikTok or any social media platform that we're exposing what actually happened.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know we ended up moving because we landed up in Awanga because police kept coming to our home in Palm Springs. And after she hit her son in the head with that shovel, him and her went on some type of excursion. Nobody knew where they was going because they was gone for some. Look, when I tell you they would leave, they would be gone for days. It ain't just like they would just get up, leave, and come back. They would be gone 2, 3 days.
They had it planned out.
He would call and say, he would call mom and say, I'm not coming home tonight. We ain't coming home tonight. So you're gonna have to watch her kids. And she said, go in the room and look in the top drawer, and the diapers are in there and the wipes. And mom would go in that room and get stuff. Because when mom would send one of us in the room, go stuff, guess what we doing?
You're what, trying to find food.
Go in the refrigerator in there getting food. And she come back complaining, mad, telling on us and stuff. So it was no more of that. Mom said she going in the room to get the stuff. So you ain't got to hear no complaints. And it, like I said, it's not like that. Hey, when I say, oh, they would leave and go here this morning. No, sometimes they would leave and they wouldn't come back for a week. They wouldn't come back for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. They would leave and go away for weekends, all types of stuff, and come back. And all I heard about when they came back, how good of a time they had. That's all I heard. How
How
good of a
good of a
time
time
that they
did
had.
they have?
That was it. So I'm just like, I don't, I'm just like, mm-mm. She the one who found that place up there. He didn't find that place. She found it. She told mom she found that place up there, so that way we can have a real big yard to play in. We can start going outside, and it had a lot of property. They came home, him and her talking about it. That she found that place of this. We have a big yard, can get playgrounds, in the yard. All the kids can go outside and all types of stuff. And that the
She
house was really big and spacious.
she knew dad wasn't letting y'all outside.
That damn fool, man. I'm just like, I mean,
Man, it's just so disgusting how she just flipped this whole story around.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
yep. And I'm just like I said, you're not copying, taking the onus for nothing. You just this innocent little victim, and all this stuff happened to me. Everybody was against me. She came in the house mean. So I'm like, I don't get it. And then, when him and her won't get in along, police is being called by him. Police is being called by her. Okay, the police separate them. You go this way, she go that way. They back with each other again. She moved out for a whole year in her own place, but yet she coming to the door, knocking at the door for diapers, food, and money. She need another car. He go buy her another car. Police show up because she for some reason I don't like it. Police show up. Well, why'd you come back? Why you keep following him?
Mm,
You know?
mm.
And then the picture I sent you where she said, I mean, she insinuated to Tracy Potts that our mother was a midwife, right?
Yeah.
But you got that picture, right? Of Taz in the hospital, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you sent that to me.
yeah,
And I got a picture of Miriam where, she nothing's wrong with her. I mean, she's healthy.
yep,
So I mean, I got all those pictures, y'all. Yeah, I got them. But she's saying she wasn't in the whatever. Laura just saying we know she's lying. It just pisses me off.
yep. I'm like I said, this stuff is just twisted.
Mm.
I'm just like at this point right now where everybody just need um you just gotta investigate her and figure it out.
Yeah, that's what you really gotta do. Um everyone just go on YouTube, type her name, all type of social media,
Yep.
read articles, read them, you know what I'm saying? Then come back here and put two and two together. 'Cause, you'll see the truth. Look at the movie and then come back and look at this.
Mm-hmm.
We've been, just like I said, for what 11 months now? Just about a year.
Yeah.
We've been
Yep.
consistent, you know. Like I said,
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot of
We
homework.
still and we still haven't gotten to a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. So I know we've been up here for a while. We probably do a part 2 to this.
Yeah.
'Cause, we've been really going at it. So everyone come back next week. No, actually, we're gonna do a Christmas thing next week, right? On Christmas Eve. Y'all come
Mm.
back, you know, we're gonna just we're not gonna talk about this. We're just gonna talk about
Yeah.
Christmas stuff
But take a break.
and take a break from it and just be up
Yeah.
here, just talk about our favorite movies, you know, Christmas
Favorite
memories,
snacks.
snacks we like for Christmas. Just talk about Christmas stuff and
Yeah.
just having fun and laughing and other crazy stories and also um try to get some our other siblings up here, but we'll see what goes. If not, me and you gonna hold it down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah.
we ready. We always try to have something different prepared when we get up here, and we just go through the week talking about stuff. So, even though Crystal, she has a lot of notes, and
Yeah.
I think we know it so well to the point it's like we just go through them, and I'm not realizing that we just be flying through them. We like okay, we just kind of take a little from here and there, but Crystal does all the notes because we talk during the week.
Yeah.
Even on the weekend, and we jot stuff down. I said, Crystal, add this. Did we talk about this? She's like, yeah. I said, did we do this yet? Not yet. Boom, boom, boom. We'll mix some stuff in.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we'll find a new article. She said, yo, Rick, check out this article. I'll read it. I'm like, yo, I haven't seen this. Take pieces from there, add it in. It made it's we just building, y'all, and it's a lot of information. I think that we're like I said, we're gonna get those transcripts. Trust me, we got some stuff already, but we just holding out a little while longer. We got a lot of stuff that we have planned that we're gonna talk about at the beginning of the year, and it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to it. Everything that we've been talking about that happened and didn't happen and everything, we're just gonna start really just pouring it out with the
Yeah.
actual court documents and everything. So just keep following us every week. Look at all our videos, the shorts, the we're gonna come back, probably do part 2 to this and talk about some other stuff, and we'll just add a little more to it. Yeah, but all right, everyone, have a uh, great day and a great week, and we'll be back.
Good night.